How's it going, everyone? College Lefty, and in this video I'm going to be ranking the top 10 Signature Series players in MLB The Show 19 for me so far throughout the game cycle. I haven't gotten a chance to try out every single Signature Series card, but I did want to start off with a few honorable mentions. I think that the first one I'm going to go with, honorable mention number 3, is going to be Rickey Henderson. This card has definitely been solid left fielder for me after I've unlocked him throughout the programs, but definitely a good card. I'm going to be quickly going over some of these players' stats that stick out to me. I have played a few events with these cards, a few conquest games as well, but for the most part, Rickey Henderson has had a lot of extra base hits. A little less than half of his hits have been for extra bases. His OPS is 896, hitting a batting average of 315. Definitely solid. I haven't really struck out with him that many times, being only 18 strikeouts to 133 hits. He just puts the ball in play. He's got the great speed. Definitely comes in at honorable mention number 3. I'm going to be going in reverse order for this video already, if you haven't been able to tell. This is honorable mention number 2, Madison Bumgarner. A lot of people don't really like this pitcher, but he has been very successful for me. I pitched very effectively with him. The stats that stick out to me are 20 wins, 7 losses, 8 quality starts. If you don't know what a quality start is, it's when the pitcher goes at least 6 innings with giving up 3 runs or less. So that's pretty good as well. His ERA is a little bit higher than a 3, but definitely solid. 11 complete games and 3 of those being shutouts. So that's also really nice as well. Only 12 walks. I think that he's the easiest pitcher in the game to control. But through 150 innings, only 12 walks, that is definitely solid. And I do like to pitch outside the strike zone quite a bit. I think that the best reliever that I've used so far has been this Bruce Souter, so he is coming in at honorable mention number 1. I do indeed like pitching as well. I was a college pitcher myself, so I try to keep that in mind when I'm evaluating some of these players. I wanted to include some pitchers as well as the hitters that carry the team for me. You can't win if you can't score, so I do know that as well. I just know how much defense comes into play, and if you have a pitcher that can shut down someone like this Bruce Souter to close out a game, I definitely think that that's effective. And I think that that's valuable to have on your squad. I mean, 10 wins, no losses, 28 holds with 22 saves. I have blown 5 saves with him, but a 1.41 ERA. I think the most runs I've given up with this Bruce Souter is against you guys in friendly games. But Nolan Ryan is coming in at number 10. I think that this card's one of the best Signature Series pitchers in the game. I think that he's been a little bit better than Madison Bumgarner for me. That's why I have him in the 10 spot. This card can be the most dominant pitcher in the game at times, depending on how he's able to locate some of his pitches throughout the game that you are using him. I know that it's a little bit random at times, but 22 wins, 5 losses, and the majority of the losses have also been against Nolan Ryan. I get a lot of head-to-head matchups with Nolan Ryan versus Nolan Ryan, but a 2.55 ERA, 9 quality starts. Haven't really walked that many guys with him either in 16, and he's a little bit more of a wild pitcher. 3 shutouts and 5 complete games, definitely solid. I just don't tend to use this pitcher late in the game as he is tough to control sometimes. So I think coming in at number 9 is Frank Thomas. I think that a lot of people will question me on this one and have him a lot higher ranked than number 9, but that's just for me. I think that everybody's different that plays this game. I think that y'all have to keep that in mind as well. I did select this card as my first Signature Series player out of the XP reward path, and I just don't really hit righties as well as a lot of other people do with this card, and if I did, he would be ranked much higher. But a 362 batting average with 70 home runs. I have used this card for a ton of games, 320 games, and 741 at-bats. He has gotten a lot of hits for me, scored a lot of runs, generated a lot of runs, and just doesn't really have the best defense at first base, even though he does play well. At times he has missed some crucial plays. I have him at number 9. I think that's fair. I think that Hornsby has been a little bit of a better hitter for me against both right-handed and left-handed pitching. I've used this card as a shortstop, which adds a little bit more value, at least for me. But definitely solid. Only 53 games in, so a little bit smaller of a sample size. But 343 batting average, some BR has been included with that. But I would say some BR has been included with a lot of these hitters. 37 hits, a lot of them for extra bases, just about half at 17 to 37, so that's just under half. Definitely a solid card. 2 strikeouts only, and I was able to steal a base with him as well, drew a couple walks. His stats are definitely really good, and the fact that he can play a variety of infield positions puts him at number 8. You guys might also have him ranked a little bit higher, but I do enjoy using some of these pitchers. I have Zack Greinke at the number 7 spot. This card has been one of my favorite pitchers to use behind a couple other guys I'm going to mention in this video. But 37 games pitched. I have disconnected a couple times, I think, using this card. That is also an outlier and can be a variable in some of these pitching stats. I have disconnected and received a loss while winning sometimes. But anyway, 22-7 with a 3.25 ERA, 10 quality starts, so he's leading the team in that category, I'm pretty sure, so far. 1 shutout, a couple complete games, and 6, and just definitely a solid pitcher. He can also hit really well, so I consider that to be very effective. I think that a pitcher that can also hit is also good. That's why I also included Madison Bumgarner in here. But number 6, Roberto Alomar, definitely the best second baseman that I've used in this game. I think that Joe Morgan is also really good. I don't necessarily have him on my ranked team, but I have used him quite a bit in BR and everything. Anytime I see him, I always select him. Second base is a weaker position, but definitely one of the best cards in the game all around, in my opinion. Coming in at number 6, Roberto Alomar, 347 batting average, a lot of extra base hits for a card that doesn't have as much power as some of these other guys. I have used him quite a bit ever since I've unlocked him or purchased him off the market. I have put him in the 2 spot at times, top of the lineup. He's been at second base for me. I moved him a little bit down in the lineup recently just because I've picked up some other cards that I wanted to try out. But a player that I think that's a little bit more valuable is Clayton Kershaw, the best pitcher in this game, coming in at number 5. And this card can do it all. I mean, he has the velocity, he has the elite hits and Ks per 9. He's able to go 29-5 for me. A lot of the losses, once again, have been up against Clayton Kershaw in head-to-head Kershaw matchups. I've struck out 100 batters in 176 innings, which isn't overwhelming, but at the same time, in this game, it is tougher to strike out. So keep that in mind as well. A lot of foul balls outside the zone. Only 17 walks, 16 quality starts, so he does lead the team a few more than Zack Greinke. This card can also hit a little bit despite his stats, but he has 9 complete games along with 6 shutouts. Coming in at number 4, honestly could be a little bit higher. I had to go with a few other guys ahead of George Brett, but this card has been one of my best hitters. I had to rank him higher than a lot of these other cards simply because he has been so dominant for me. I mean, through 135 games, he's hit a ton of extra base hits. More than half of them have actually been extra bases. With 112 hits, and 57 of those hits being for extra bases, which is a few more than half. So that's really insane, honestly. I mean, he's hitting 373 for me, slugging 743 with an OPS of 1.136. That is absolutely crazy. I mean, it hasn't really played in a ton of games, a lot of event games as well, but this card has been tremendous for me since picking him up out of the Signature Series pack. I actually purchased him on the market. But coming in at number 3 is Willie Mays. I had to rank him a little bit higher than George Brett. Even though his stats are not as great as George Brett, I had to rank him that in this spot just because of the all-around player that he is. He's an elite defender with amazing speed. He has a lot of power as well. I've been able to tap into his power at times with 57 hits, 16 doubles, 7 triples, and 12 home runs. That's definitely balanced. And I really hit lefties extremely well with this card. I would like to hit a little bit better against righties, and I'm still getting used to using this card consistently, but I wanted to just include him at the number 3 spot. I'm using 2 other guys that I think are a little bit better than him. Coming in at number 2 is Lou Gehrig. This card has been just an all-around absolute animal for me at the plate. Honestly been my best hitter since acquiring him, even better than the number 1 spot, but I had to include the number 1 guy at that spot for a reason, and just not as large of a sample size with this card. 26 games in, though. All of them have been on Hall of Fame in ranked seasons. Maybe a few of them on All-Star, but all of them have been ranked seasons or friendly games. But through 26 games, he does have 32 hits, including 8 doubles and 11 home runs. He single-handedly won me a game when he drove in 5 runs, went like 3 for 4. I've only struck out twice with him, and a couple of them, I think both of them actually have been on check swings where I meant to swing the bat. Maybe one of them was struck out looking. But anyway, number 1 spot, I had to go with Tony Gwynn. I think that this card has a larger sample size for me. He's honestly one of the best cards, if not the best card in the game. I know that Ken Griffey Jr. and a couple other cards are going to be coming out pretty soon, so I wanted to get this list out before that. Obviously, it's going to change a little bit with some of the new content being released, but through 600 at-bats, I mean, 223 hits, hitting 367, a good amount of power as well for the 66, 69 splits. I mean, he's able to steal bases, he plays elite defense, just creates a lot of runs in the leadoff spot, and always has good at-bats, only 19 strikeouts. I mean, this card is absolutely insane. But that's going to be my top 10 Signature Series cards in MLB The Show 19. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe if you are new. I'll see you guys in the next one, and peace out.